As I understand the Great Resignation, it's people really reevaluating their lives, and reevaluating their careers and reevaluating where their career fits into their life. I think a pandemic and war and all of the disruption that we faced in the last few years has led people to have, let's call it, less patience with bad management, or are less willing to delay gratification in their lives. And so where they're able to, they're taking action, and they're, people who I think are finding that they have more options than perhaps they thought they did sort of before all this started. Companies are, of course, kind of reeling from this. Every company, almost every leader I talk to is having a very, very difficult time hiring, to the point where they'll even give offers to people and they'll get a notification, the day that person's supposed to start, and the person will be just like, hey, you know what, I decided to stay at my old job, or I decided to do this other thing. And so when we talk about work-life balance, I think there's often this idea that we're trying to balance our work self and our work life with our personal life and our personal self. And while I agree intellectually, obviously, we all kind of want balance in our lives, that it does create sort of a false dichotomy, because what I think most of us want is we also want work where we don't feel like we are parking ourselves, where we don't feel like we're leaving our values behind, where we don't feel like we're leaving our personalities, the things that we like, the things that we care about, that we're not having to leave those behind. I think the Great Resignation is in many ways an opportunity for us as a society, but perhaps more importantly, individual leaders and leadership teams inside of organizations, to in some way radically rethink what the foundations of their organization really are, and what they're really trying to accomplish, and how best to do that. So what kind of teams do they need? What kind of culture do they need? And I think the people that succeed, the people that do the best, are going to do it together. I've worked with some leaders who sort of say, like, okay, I figured it all out. Here's what we're going to do. And last month they had to lay off 40% of their staff because they were not really being honest, being frank with each other and with the team, and really going slow and being deliberate and saying, like, okay, we're in this difficult moment. How are we going to pull through this together? What do you think? And what do you think? And what do you think? And being able to kind of come together in a certain way. Tenure at companies doesn't last that long for most anymore. We're seeing people staying at jobs maybe 2, 3, 4 years. And so I think one thing companies can do in order to retain people as long as possible, and also to create the best cultures that they can internally while those people are there, is to say, look, we know that you're not going to be here forever. We know that we are a step in your career, and that you are going to probably move on someplace beyond that. And we want to give you some budget, right? Or some help in terms of upskilling yourself in the places that you're interested.